Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, it's a pleasure to be here, and I beg the blessings of Kavi Chandra Maharaj. He's my senior god brother, but he's allowing me to get purified by speaking something today, and the blessings of all the Vaishnavas that I can say something meaningful. So there's the actual verse today, corresponding verse doesn't have a purport, so I will read a few verses, and then verse number 51 has a technical purport. Tabir dukula balanyaya haranu purakundalai sualankritabir vibhavo dikshito jina samvita. Translation. Vasudeva received initiation along with his wives, who wore silk saris and were adorned with bangles, necklaces, ankle bells, and earrings. With his body wrapped in a deer skin, Vasudeva shone splendidly. So verse 49. Tasya tvijo maharaja ratna kaushaya vasasaha sa sadasya videjustate yata vitrahanodvade. Translation. My dear Maharaj Parikshit, Vasudeva's priests and the officiating members of the assembly, dressed in silk dhotis and jeweled ornaments, looked so effulgent that they seemed to be standing in the sacrificial arena of Indra, the killer of Vritra. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gananjana Sharakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Rishatarine. So, why does it say Vitrahana, the killer, Indra, the killer of Vitra? Because Vasudeva is a Kshatriya. So you compare a Kshatriya in this way. He's a killer. A Kshatriya, of course, in the case of Vasudeva, he was, even though he was a king, he was very gentle because he was a Vaishnava. Just like Arjuna, although he was a great warrior, he wasn't so anxious to fight. Just because someone's a Kshatriya, if they're Vaishnavas, they're not so anxious to fight. Not like Banasura, who was so powerful. Being empowered by Lord Shiva, he wanted to fight. He was just so anxious to fight because he was in the mode of Rajaguna. But Arjuna, he's in Shuddha Sattva. And although he has a Kshatriya body, or Vasudeva Kshatriya body, not so anxious to fight, because the Vaishnava characteristics will always overshadow, will always go beyond the tendency of the body. We'll speak about that a little later. So verse 50, Tada Ramascha Krishnascha Swayar Bandhavir Anbitao Rejatu Swasutayar Darair Jive Sao Swa Vibhutibi. Translation. At that time, Balaram and Krishna, the lords of all living entities, shone forth with great majesty in the company of their respective sons, wives, and other family members who were expansions of their opulences. So wherever the Lord is situated, he is accompanied by his energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividai Vishuyate Svabhaviki Jnanabala Viyacha. That the Lord has unlimited energies. Actually, we're all part of his energies. This material world is all part of his energy. But when he appears personally, everything around him is dominated by his Chit Shakti, his internal energy. And therefore, his sons, his wives, his paraphernalia, his palace, everything is totally spiritual. Because Krishna can never come in contact with the material energy. Therefore, on the battle of Kurukshetra, all the soldiers were liberated, not Sayujasha, but to being residents on the same planet as the Lord. Just because the Lord appearing in that battlefield with Arjuna, it made such a great difference. So now, there's this verse has some purport. So we'll repeat the verse. Ijenu yagyam vidina agnihotra dilakshanai Pakvitaye yagyaye Dvavyajnana kriyashvaram Ijenu yagyam vidina Agnihotradi lakshanai Prakvitaye Vikvitaye yagyaye Dvavyajnana kriyashvaram Yejena yagyam vidina Agnihotram adhidakshanai Prakvitaye Vakvitaye yagyaye Yajnana kriyeshwaram Davyajnanam kriyeshwaram Ijenu yagyam vidina Agnihotra dilakshanai Prakvitaye Vakvitaye yagyaye Davyajnanam kriyeshwaram Vaishnavis Yagyam vidina Agnihotra dilakshanai Prakvitaye Vakvitaye yagyaye Kriyashkaram. EJ, he worshipped Anuyagyam with each kind of sacrifice. Vidina by the proper regulations. Agnihotra by offering oblations into the sacred fire. Adi and so on. Lakshanai characterized. prakritae, unmodified, completely specified by Shruti injunctions. Bhagavatai, modified, adjusted according to the indications of other sources. Yagnai, with sacrifices. Dravya, of the sacrificial paraphernalia. Jnana, of the knowledge of mantras. Kriya, and of the rituals. Ishwaram, the Lord. Translation and purport by the servants of Srila Prabhupada. Performing various kinds of Vedic sacrifice according to the proper regulations, Vasudeva worshipped the Lord of all sacrificial paraphernalia, mantras, and rituals. He executed both primary and secondary sacrifices, offering oblations to the sacred fire and carrying out other aspects of sacrificial worship. Everyone can please repeat. Performing various kinds of Vedic sacrifice according to the proper regulations, Vasudeva worshipped the Lord of all sacrificial paraphernalia, mantras, and rituals. He executed both primary and secondary sacrifices, offering oblations to the sacred fire and carrying out other aspects of sacrificial worship. Purport. There are numerous kinds of Vedic fire sacrifice, each of which involves several elaborate rituals. The Brahmana portion of the Vedic Shruti specifies the complete step-by-step procedure of only a few prototype sacrifices, such as the Jyotishtoma and Darsha Purnamasa. These are called the Prakrita, or original yagyas. The details of other yagyas must be extrapolated from the patterns of these Prakrita injunctions according to the strict rules of the Mimamsa Shastra. Since other yagyas are less known by the derivation from the prototype sacrifices, they are called Vikrita, or changed. So this purport is a bit technical. Maybe some expert Yajnik Brahmins would know what we're talking about here. No. But the main point is that this is done for Vishnu. As Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, all sacrifices should be for Vishnu. All Vedic mantras begin with Om, which indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is being offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, he was not, although he's doing all of this because before the last words of the Yajnik Brahmins and the sages who are blessing Vasudeva, they said in a previous verse that there are three things. Well, it's indicated there are three things that should take place in a sacrifice. Three debts are born along with him. Whoever takes birth, and especially a Brahmin, or a Kshatriya. What are the three things? The three things are three things one has to purify. That's in the previous verse. One has a debt to the demigods, one has a debt to the forefathers, and to the sages, forefathers, and the demigods. So they said, "O magnanimous soul, you freed yourself from two of those to the sages." The sages are pleased, it says here, that the sages are pleased by celibacy, or by, and the demigods by sacrifice, celibacy, or in this case, by very religious married life, and the forefathers by begetting children, because that way they will be relieved of their, if they didn't make it to the spiritual world, the children can do sacrifices, at least to elevate them to higher heavenly planets, celestial planets. So they said that you have finished two of these. You have finished, you had children. Of course, what children did he have? Krishna and Balaram. And so it's not that he paid a debt, he eliminated all debts. That by having Krishna and Balaram as his children, he paid all debts that you can possibly pay. Sarvatmana yat sharanam sharanyam kato mukundam parivritya kartam. That he eliminated all debts. And so he paid his debt to the forefathers. He paid his debt to the sages by glorifying them. So now he has to do sacrifice. So this yajna, apparently, that he's going through is a sacrifice, but he is offering it to the Supreme Personality. He's not offering it to the demigods. Yaiva vihitam hitam, as Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, that one should know that whatever benefit you get from the demigods is coming from me only. It's not something that I have, that you have earned yourself. It's coming from me. So this very technical description of sacrifices, they must be done. Now we can see why yajnas and our yajnas in Kali Yuga would not be are not technically very complete, but because we're offering them to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we're offering to Krishna, then Krishna accepts. Otherwise, just like it says here, every mantra has to be according to strict spiritual rules. No, this is prakritaya. Prakriti usually means material, but in this sense, it means the very nature of the mantra has to be carried out. And then, bhakritaya. Other ones, there are other mantras who follow these special mantras that have to be taken from those mantras. And you have to know that. So you have to have a Brahmin that knows the original mantras. You have to have a Brahmin that knows the technical mantras and how to derive them from other mantras. And then you have to have one who has knowledge of all the paraphernalia and one who has understanding of all the rituals. But all this is accomplished, and we see it in the case of Vasudeva, by offering everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this whole section, which will go on for some time, is the yajna that he's doing technically. Just like Krishna accepts a guru. Does Krishna need a guru? No. Did Srila Prabhupada, coming from Goloka Vrindavan, need to be born in a Vaishya family and go through all the things that he went through? and have to have family and children. No. He's doing this to give an example to all of us, of what a responsible grihastha should do. He could have just been like his Guru Maharaj, a brahmachari and sannyasi. But then, because almost everyone is grihastha in Kali Yuga, just like Srila Prabhupada said, that Krishna could have spoken Bhagavad-gita to Narada Muni or some other great saintly person, but then no one would take it seriously. This is just something for renunciants. Therefore, he spoke Bhagavad-gita to a grihastha and a warrior, so that everyone could, this is for everyone, not just, and by the supreme quality of Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad-gita, we understand even great renunciants can take it very seriously, because he teaches renunciation. Just like one time, one reporter was interviewing Srila Prabhupada, and he said, "Why are you teaching so much renunciation? Why are you, all this strictness, and especially to these young people?" And Srila Prabhupada said, "If I speak renunciation, someone will renounce. If I speak about material pleasure, then no one will renounce. So if I speak about renunciation, someone will renounce." And he said, "But why do so many young people?" And Prabhupada said, "What does it mean to be young?" I said, "Well, they're all young. This is meant for older people." So Prabhupada said, "What does older mean?" He said, "Well, 60, 65, Now, of course, life by chemical processes, life has been extended a little more, 75, 80, 85, 90. But still, so Prabhupada said, no. Actually, old means just before you die. That is old. He said, "You accept?" He said, "Yeah, okay." He said, "Yes, yeah. When you get old, then soon you will die." And Prabhupada said, "So, when will you die?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "Then you should take to this Krishna consciousness. You don't know. Could be tomorrow." So, that's why Srila Prabhupada with his wonderful logic. So, Vasudeva is doing the yajna for the real purpose of yajna, which is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedashu yagyashu tapasu chaiva daneshu yat punyapatam padishtam atyati yat sarvamidam viditva yat yogi stanam upayati chadyam. Krishna says that all these Vedic rituals and sacrifices and austerities and penances, if you just learn this one step, if you just learn this Bhagavad-gita, then everything can be accomplished and you become the greatest of all yogis. This was Krishna's instruction to Arjuna. And because by devotional service, we accomplish all these technical things. Just like when Parikshit Maharaj, after hearing about all the hellish planets and hellish conditions, then, so he said, what is the use? Just like Kunjara Marjana, just like the bathing of an elephant. This is, you just people, they do all these rituals. It's like we see so many people filing through the temple and they're thinking, let me do this, get some blessing. But what is that blessing for? Not to give up the material world, not to accomplish the real purpose of life, but to be able to enjoy. Get rid of some sinful activities so I can enjoy, so I can go to a heavenly planet, so I can get the blessings of Lord Shiva, or Durga. Let me come here and get some blessings. No. But that's not the real purpose. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj said, what is the use? And Shukadeva Goswami wanted to test him. So he said, well, tapasa brahmacharyena, you should practice austerities and celibacy, shamena cha damena cha, controlling the mind, controlling the senses, tyagena, doing sacrifice, and satyam sauchabhyam, and cleanliness, purity, to understand the absolute truth. Yamena niyamena cha, following the rules, understanding the rules of regulated spiritual life, what you should do, what you should not do. Then dehava buddhijam sudhira, one should be very serious and offer the body and the words and the intelligence, along with dharmagya, understanding scriptures, shadayanmita, and with great faith, Kshipan yagham mahadapi, then you'll be able to get rid of even the greatest sins. But then he gave a hint. He gave a hint that Beno gulmam ivan alaha. Just like bamboo is burnt, but it's burnt, the roots stay, and it will grow again. So he wanted to see if Parikshit Maharaj would understand. And he did. So therefore, Shukadeva Goswami said, Ketchit kevalaya bhaktya. Only a few persons like you can understand that all these things, which are so difficult to accomplish, they can, it's very difficult to actually accomplish the purpose. And even if you're able to eliminate all these sinful activities, they will come again, just as you have questioned. But Ketchit, but very rarely, Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayana. Very rarely someone can take to pure devotional service and be totally dedicated to Vasudeva. And then Agham Dunbanti Kartsnyena. Then these sinful activities, Kartsnyena, will be completely destroyed, not partially destroyed, not momentarily destroyed and they come back. They will be completely destroyed. Niharam iva bhaskaraha. Just like Maharaj just came from Mayapur. Every day there's thick fog, but niharam, that is destroyed, eva bhaskaraha. When the sun comes, then after an hour or two, the fog goes away. So the fog in our mind, Srila Prabhupada said, the fog in the mind can be cleared by following the four regulative principles. Otherwise the brain will be foggy and one will not be able to chant the Mahamantra very carefully. So this is the process. Process is pure devotional service. Sanatana Goswami wrote one beautiful verse explaining how most people, they want liberation. Most people want liberation. But he said, Jayati Krishna Prema Bhaktir Yarangarim. Well, that actually Krishna Prema, Krishna Prema Bhakti, this pure devotional service comes from the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi. And in those lotus feet, Nikala Nigamam Tattvam Gudham Aghyaya, one can understand that all Vedic rituals, all Vedic principles, all Vedic teachings, all perfection of life is contained within the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi. If one surrenders to the process of bhakti, then one achieves all these things. So, mukti, bhajati sharanam kama. Therefore, Mukti Devi, she has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi. Why? Because Vaishnavais tyajamana. Because the Vaishnavas don't care about her. They didn't care about her in the past, they don't care about her now, and they're not interested in her in the future. They're not trying to achieve what everybody... So Mukti Devi is thinking, who are these Vaishnavas? No, everybody is looking for me, but these Vaishnavas are not interested. They are so... Who are they? Why won't they give me shelter? And feeling distressed and alone, without shelter, she says that japa, yajana, tapasa, nyasa, that those means by which japa, the brahmacharis, they would achieve me by japa, by chanting mantras, and yajana, and the grihastas would achieve me by great sacrifices, and tapasa, the vanaprasthas would achieve me by austerities and penances, and nyasa, and the sannyasis by renunciation, nishtam bihaya. But I've given all that up. They can't do that. No. They will never get their full, the fullest extent of what they're desiring. They want liberation. Because I am simply falling at the feet, as Bilva Mangala Thakur says, that Mukti Devi is standing with folded hands, waiting for the Vaishnavas. No. And she's just looking at the lotus feet of Bhakti Devi. This means that even if a Vaishnava is not complete, even if they just take an initiation, they have gone beyond mukti. They may still want mukti because they're new, but at least they understand theoretically that mukti is not the... there's one verse in the Bhagavatam that says, I can't remember the verse now, but it says, special mukti. That special mukti means that liberation that is given by Krishna. Otherwise, one becomes attached to Krishna. What is that mukti? Man mana bhava mad bhakto, mam yaji mam namaskuru, mam vaishasi yuktaya, mam napanan mat parayanaha. That mukti is that one surrenders to Krishna. So even Mukti Devi is surrendered to Krishna through bhakti. And therefore, this is the only thing that a devotee desires. Doesn't desire anything else. There's nothing else for a devotee. This is the actual perfection of life. And these verses and a few others that it will go on to describe technicalities of, what Vasudeva is doing, just like we do so many technicalities. Srila Prabhupada, when he dedicated the Krishna Balaram Mandir, or we have so many mandirs, we do Bhumi Puja, and then install the deities with all these Netra Milana and this and that. And, it's not necessary. No. A pure devotee, just like Sanatana Goswami, he was chastising his deity. The deity was requesting, give me some, you're just giving me some chapatis, give me something else. I'm an poor old renunciant. Babaji, what can I do? At least give me some salt? No, sorry, don't have it. No, not available. No. He's chastising his deity. No. Of course, he's loving his service, but just this rasa, this unparalleled rasa, we cannot do that. No. We cannot do that. Sometimes Vamsi Das Babaji, he would take a stick to his deity. No. Why are you demanding these things? Or Raghunandana. No. Raghunandana was begging the deity, please eat. And the deity, of course, standing there with his flute. No. Please eat. No. Would not do it. No. And then finally, he said, please, please. And his devotion became so strong that the deity got down and ate the offering. No. And then his father came, Mukunda, his father came back. And where is the prasadam? Oh, there is no prasadam. Where is it? The deity ate it. So you think, this young boy, maybe he ate, but he couldn't have eaten all that. It was a big offering. So he asked his wife, the plate came off, there was nothing on it. What happened? So Mukunda said, do another offering. And Mukunda was watching. And he offered again, and he said, please, my Lord, eat, but leave something for my father. So he ate half. Mukunda was surprised. Even nowadays in that temple, they offer half of a laddu to the deity. This is the power of a devotee. They don't need all of this. But Vasudeva is following. We also follow the same thing. The devotees chant mantras. Probably they miss a few. They may not pronounce one perfectly. But it doesn't matter. Krishna is satisfied. Just like today, is disappearance day of Ishwara Puri. And he is the perfect demonstration of how Krishna will accept the love of his devotee. Ishwara Puri, came to Navadvip. He was disguised. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, what kind of disguise? Not pants and shirt. No. Like some of our devotees, they're disguised in pants and shirt. No tilak. But this disguise, he just disguised as Ekadanda, Mayavadi. He didn't want anyone to glorify him. Just like Pundarik Vidyanidhi, when he came to Navadvip. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one day, in front of all the devotees, he began to cry, Pundarika, Pundarika. And everyone was bewildered. What's he talking? Is this talking about some yagya, some ceremony of Pundarika? No, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, he will come, soon he will come, but you will not recognize him. Because he did not want people to glorify him. So he came disguised as a very wealthy person. No, he has wealth. No, he's Vrishabhanu, so he's naturally he has wealth. And he came and he had a big opulent house. Everybody thought, some puffed up, wealthy, Vaishya. But when he would go to the Ganga, he would cry incessantly because he would see people washing their clothes in the Ganga, or relieving themselves and bathing in the Ganga, and he would cry. How can Ganga Devi be treated like this? And therefore he would simply offer his dandavats and put 3 drops of water on his head. Because he could not bathe in the Ganga, he was thinking, how can I touch Ganga Devi with my feet? She is my worshipable object. Would you put your feet on the deity? No. So how can I touch? The quality of his devotion. And when Gadadhar was taken by Mukunda to meet Pundarika, he was thinking, because Mukunda said, do you want to meet the greatest of all Vaishnavas? Oh yes. He took him there and he sees this wealthy man with, oil, beautiful perfumed oil in his hair, and servants fanning him, sitting on big silk cushions with a hookah. No, big hookah pipe. No, he didn't use it, but he just had it there. And so, make everybody think he was a materialist. And then, and Gadadhar was bewildered in his mind. Why did he bring me here to see this materialist? So then Mukunda began to recite mantras. And Pundarika immediately began to move his hands and his legs in ecstasy. The servants didn't know what to do. They tried to restrain him, but he pushed them away. And then went into ecstasy for 8 hours. And Gadadhar thought, oh, I've committed a great offense in my mind. He didn't even say anything. It was just in his mind. And then he offered obeisances and said, please accept me as your disciple, because by serving you throughout my life, maybe I can counteract the offenses in my mind. Imagine how strict he's teaching us to be. No, just in the mind. We commit all kinds of offenses with the mind, with the words, with our body, with everything. No. But still, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. If we can just realize that by practicing the Shikshastika. No. So, Ishwarapuri came in disguise. And he came to the house of Advaitacharya. He wanted to visit Advaitacharya because he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So that is his guru. So he wanted to visit there. And he came there disguised. But when Advaitacharya saw him and his beautiful countenance, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, you cannot, a pure Vaishnava cannot hide from another pure Vaishnava. Just like when Madhavendra Puri was traveling throughout the forests, he became very discouraged because he was preaching the glories of Krishna and no one would listen. So he was thinking, let me just go to the forest and chant the holy name of the Lord. And then he met Lord Nityananda. For 5 days, they sat together and spoke about Krishna. They bathed each other with their tears of ecstasy. And then Madhavendra said, now he has given me hope. So he continued to preach. So anyway, Ishwarapuri, he's offered obeisances. And Advaita said, you must be a great personality. No, I am the lowest of the Shudras. Shudhyadama. No, I am the Shudra Adama. I am even the lowest of all Shudras. And then Mukunda, he's always around at the right time. No. He began to chant beautiful song glorifying Krishna. And Ishwarapuri fell into ecstasy. And he was rolling on the ground, tears shooting from his eyes. No. And Advaitacharya went and embraced him. And when he embraced him, they were bathing each other with their tears and embracing and glorifying Madhavendra Puri. And then Ishwarapuri decided, let me stay here for some time. So he went to the house of Gopinath Acharya and stayed for some time, about 3 months. Stayed because he wanted to see Madhavendra Puri, Advaitacharya. And then he met Gadadhar and he started reciting his book, Krishna Lilamrita. And then one day he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit. And Nimai Pandit was immediately, of course, he knew who he was. This is my pure devotee. This is my greatest devotee. So he said, oh, great sage, great personality, please come and take lunch at my house. Oh, I'm so fortunate. I'm just a fallen grihastha. I'm so fortunate to see you. So he took him home. Mother Sachi prepared wonderful prasadam, and because she is Sachi Devi, Ishwarapuri was in total ecstasy. He took the prasadam and he saw the effulgence of Chaitanya. He didn't realize he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead yet. But he saw he was such a wonderful, great Brahman. So he said, I have one book, Krishna Lilamrita. So you're a great scholar. Could you correct me? Could you look over the book and correct whatever faults are there? And Nimai Pandit said, what faults can there be? Anyone like you, whatever you compose, Krishna will accept it. There's no question of faults. Anyone who finds faults in you is full of faults. No. Just like in the Bhagavatam, Tadvad Visarago Janataga Viplavo Yasmin Pratishlokam Abhadavatyapi. Even if someone is a great devotee of the Lord, even if what they write is improperly composed, Namanyanantasya Yashonikantiya. Because it's full of glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His names and His wonderful, glorious activities. Shinvanti Gayanti, Grinanti Sadhava. Any intelligent, pure person will want to chant it, will want to hear it, will accept it within their hearts. No. Doesn't matter how it's composed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, he said, I cannot find any faults. But Ishwara Puri kept coming every day. He would come and read from his book, and he would say, please, if you find some fault, please point it out. And so so one day he said, well, this verse, no, it has Parasmai Padi. It should be not Atmane Padi, it should be Parasmai Padi, verb tense. No. And so Ishwara Puri thought about it. He looked at the book, and then he came back, he said, no, Atmane Padi is correct. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted. I have been defeated by my devotee. No. The Lord wants to be defeated by His devotee. Even though, technically speaking, He was correct. But if my devotee says it's like this, then that's how it is. No. And so, just like in the Bhagavatam, it says, Ye prayasho jitatitopyasi taistilokyam, that even though the Lord is unconquerable within the three worlds, He is easily conquered by His devotee. And what kind of devotee? No, jivete san mukaritam bhavadhiyavartam. Someone who is always glorifying Him, whose only purpose in life is to glorify Him, who has given up jnane prayasam, given up all pursuit of knowledge, fruitive activities, etc. Just wants to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Ishwara Puri, he accepted, and then, so then he left, because of his ecstasy, he could not stay in one place for very long. He was very restless. He was feeling such great ecstasy. He wanted to go from one place to another and glorify Krishna. So he left, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he lost his wife. He went to East Bengal, Bangladesh. He went there to preach. We've also gone there to preach. Not so easy sometimes. And when he came back, his wife died, got married again, and then he went to Gaya. He went to Gaya to, in the guise of doing Shraddha for his departed father. But he really wanted to see the lotus feet of Vishnu. When he got there, he saw the lotus feet of Vishnu. He saw everyone glorifying them. He was in ecstasy. And then Ishwara Puri showed up. And he said, now I have reached the perfection of my life. I was here in this holy place. But actually, I understand this place has now become holy because of you. That Padvita, Bhagavatas, Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. that because you have come, this has become a holy place. Tirti kurvanti tirtani. Because you yourself, because you carry the Supreme Personality, Swantastena Gadhabrita, you carry the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your heart. You have made this now a place of pilgrimage. So then he went, Nimai Pandit went, visited all these places, and then he came back to where he was staying, and he started cooking, and Ishwara Puri showed up. He showed up, and he said, "Oh, I am very fortunate." No, because now he had realized that Nimai Pandit is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now I am very fortunate. So he said, "Please come, let me serve you prasadam." And he said, "Oh, no, because what will you eat? No, I can cook later. No, we can divide it up. No, please, let me serve you." And he served him prasadam. And Ishwara Puri took that prasadam in great ecstasy. And then the Lord went back to cook, but the goddess Rama Devi, she appeared invisible to Ishwara Puri, and she cooked a quick meal for. And Nimai Pandit came out, they ate, Ishwara Puri left, and then Nimai Pandit went looking for Ishwara Puri and found him. And he said, "My dear sir, my life has been perfected by seeing you. Please, can you give me initiation?" He said, "Actually, what can I give you? I can give you my very life. No. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have realized that no one can have so much knowledge as you. No one can have all of these wonderful qualities as you have. And therefore, I realize you are the Supreme Person. Therefore, if you order me to initiate you, I will do it. I will give you my life. I will give you everything." And he initiated, he gave 10-syllable mantra to Nimai Pandit, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then the whole life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed. Not that it changed because he got initiated, but he was demonstrating to us that when you get spiritual initiation, it's meant to transform your life. It's not some ceremony that we do, no, some ritual we do. Now I'm initiated. No, everybody else got initiated. Let me get initiated. No, you have to be willing to transform your life. That's what it means. No, not the ceremony is actually a formality. The real initiation is when we accept the spiritual master as our life and soul, as Srila Prabhupada said when he remembered the purport of the verse. No, what's that verse? Can't think of it. Vyavasyatmika buddhirikehe kuru nandana. When he heard, he says that the purpose of this verse is that one should surrender to the spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada read that purport, and he said that this means that one should give the spiritual master should be one's life and soul. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us that. Krishna showed us that. Srila Prabhupada showed us that. He never took credit for anything. He always said, this is because of the mercy or the blessing of Guru Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would always say, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Prabhupada said, this is my credit. And this should be all of our credit. That when we take shelter of the parampara, when we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, then our life has real purpose. And we should take it very, very seriously. So seriously, Srila Prabhupada waited 11 years to get initiated. He didn't have to wait even 11 seconds. No. But he showed. Everything in his life was to show us. No. That be ready. Be ready to not just some ceremony, I get a name, and then I'm like everybody else. Everybody else got initiated, I got initiated. No. and then bhakti becomes some mechanical process. No. I just go through the motions, but my mind is always dwelling on something other than Krishna's lotus feet. No. So, initiation, deity worship, all these things are meant to focus our mind on Krishna, just as Vasudeva has focused his mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead here in this particular verse. So anyway, these are some thoughts on this verse and on the disappearance of Sri Ishwara Puri. Such a blessing we have to this day to remember the parampara. He was so, and also to respect Guru Varga. We should respect Guru Varga. Here is someone who is initiated by my spiritual master. Therefore, he is worshipable. And we call each other Prabhu. No. And therefore, everyone is worshipable. No. Otherwise, as Prabhupada said in one letter, why do you say Prabhu? You want to tell him what to do. Why do you say Prabhu? You should say Das. Come here, Das. I'll tell you what to do. But if you say Prabhu, it's because I see you as my master. Even if we have a superior position, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even when his disciples would offer him obeisances, he would say, Dasosmi, that I am your servant. I am here to serve you by giving you what the parampara has given to me. That is my purpose. If I tell you what to do, it's only because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jarita Katarikaha Krishna Padesh Amaragyaya Guru Anyataredesh. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, I must become Guru. Otherwise, what is my qualification? My qualification is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave this order, and this order has come through the parampara, and I must do it. And that should be our mentality. With that mentality, we can be successful in devotional service. So anyway, I will stop here. Unfortunately, I have to go somewhere right now, so I don't have any time for questions today, or to be corrected by Kavichandra Maharaj or all the Vaishnavas. But I'm not doing this to get out of it. No, I actually have to go do something. So thank you all very much for your kind attention and for your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.